I'm very excited to chat with our upcoming guest because she's been responsible for a lot of smiles, and anybody that makes me laugh is, by definition, a wonderful person. Sandra Bernhard is actually going to be in Amagansett, New York on June 5th at 8 o'clock, and you can get tickets on sale there right now at the Stephen Talk House in Amagansett. She'll also be in Norfolk, Connecticut at the Infinity Music Hall on June 7th at 7:30, and you can go to sandrabernhard.com. That's BERNHARD.com, because tickets are on sale now via her website, and her newest album, which is being released in a couple of weeks, is called I Love Being Me, Don't You? Welcome, Sandra Bernhard, to the Lisa Wexler Show.
Thank you. I've got the news update, the weather update.
I know.
I got a couple of advertisements on my mind.
I know.
Sitting here waiting. I'm so informed.
Yeah, you're so. Did you hear about me ranting about medical malpractice right before the break?
I caught the last, wrap up.
Yeah.
Lisa, and it scared me.
Well, it's a $58 million judgment. It's the largest in Connecticut history.
Wow. What was this? This was a woman who was high risk pregnant.
Yeah, high risk. She accuses the doctor of doing the C-section too late, and the baby was born with a lot of problems with cerebral palsy.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, I know. It's a sad thing, but honestly, it really does raise the question, do we all suffer with judgments like this because it keeps the doctors away from delivering babies?
Yeah, well, I having had, a C-section and having had, some, interesting complications, I've kind of been through that and chose not to go down that route. Thank God everybody was fine, including me. So, I think sometimes it's a judgment call, you know what I mean? And then also, how far do you want to push it?
Right.
And how much, you know what I mean? It's like, how much do you need out of the situation to get, the feeling you've been, I don't know.
Compensated.
I
know, and that's what that's the point. I mean, I'm an attorney.
I agree. It's a very, very, very complex conversation, which we can't have in 2 minutes.
No, we can't have in 2 minutes.
We want to talk about, not that that's not important. Everything's important in the world, and there's so much going on. And I like to cover all of that in a very, very upbeat, fun, zhuzhy, sexy way in my shows that also include singing and a rocking band. And I always try to take people out of their day-to-day stresses and predictable situations and really take it to another level of entertainment. And I like to throw myself back to the times of in Vegas, Liza Minnelli, Sammy Davis Jr. When people went to Vegas and you saw a great show, you felt like, this is something you remember your whole life. These are the kind of shows and performances I like to give to my audiences.
Well,
I told you too much?
No, because actually you have a big fan right here in the studio. Our producer Julia has been to your concerts, and she went to see you, and she said it was one of the best concerts she'd ever been to. Am I right, Julia? She said it yesterday on the air.
Yeah, it was great. I saw you maybe 10 years ago at the Booth Theater, that little theater in Manhattan.
Absolutely.
It was great.
Right after I had my baby. That was my show. I'm still here, damn it.
It's great. I was very impressed by your singing voice. I didn't know you sang, and you were great.
Well, a lot of people who come to my shows are pleasantly surprised because I really, I've got it all covered.
What do you like to sing?
I have to say my favorite are, rock and roll. I like rock, but I can do blues, I can do jazz standards. I kind of cover it all, but I'm really a rock and roll kind of aficionado.
And do you have a whole band with you on the stage?
Yes, I'll have a band with me at the Norfolk date. And at Stephen Talk House, I only have my musical director. She plays keyboards or guitar, so we kind of go back and forth. It depends on the date. Can't always bring the whole band, but we'll have the whole band in Norfolk.
That's fantastic. Now, I was reading about you. This nice Jewish girl. You lived on a kibbutz for a while. You grew up in Flint, Michigan, and then Scottsdale. By the way, did you hear today that Palin has moved to Scottsdale? Sarah Palin?
It's so perfect. She belongs there. That city has fallen apart over the years. When we moved there back in the 60s, it was wide open spaces. It hadn't been overbuilt. It still had that desert charm. You could drive for miles in empty open spaces with cactus, and it still had that old cowboy charm. And now it's just turned into it's like a spin-off of LA, but the worst aspects of it.
I don't really enjoy Arizona. It's too brown for me. It's just not green for me. I mean...
Yeah, well, you got to be careful when you say brown because people might mistake that as
No, I mean...
the brown people that...
No, I mean visually. I'm thinking...
members of our society.
No, that's not what I mean. I mean that it looks brown. That's...
I'm kidding you.
Yeah, I know. But you're right. I mean, you got to be so careful with what you say. Everybody's...
Only because there's so many ignorant people, and for my money, people like that. You know, the racist people, they want to say things that hurt people.
Well, you know, it's interesting. Yesterday I was on the subway. Sandra, you'll love this. I was on the subway, and this clearly out-of-town couple were on the subway with me, and they wanted to go to see the Ground Zero, but their piece of paper said Crown Heights. So they said to me, I want to go to Crown Heights. I said, really? I said, where do you want to go? They said, the World Trade Center. I said, well, you don't want to go to Crown Heights. You know, you want to go to Fulton Street, whatever. Well, the woman sitting next to me, who happened to be a black woman, whatever, she got so nasty with me. What are you saying about Crown Heights? That's a very nice place to go. I'm like, I'm not saying anything that Crown Heights isn't.
That is insane.
Insane.
Lisa, I'm telling you, you reach out to people and you get slapped.
She absolutely made it like I was making a racial remark against Crown Heights. I just said to these poor out-of-town strangers, you don't want to go to Crown Heights. That's not where you want to go.
That's hysterical.
This is what happens. This is exactly what happens. So when did your mouth ever get you into trouble?
Oh, listen, it's got me in trouble, over the years. But I don't feel like anything ever, serious. It's never it's never, rocked my world to the point where, oh, my God, I really did it this time. But, I did, I have talked about Sarah Palin, during the campaign, and that, there was a big backlash on the right wing, and they kind of, harangued and harassed me. But you know what? I got through it. It was, it was no big deal. No big deal.
You know, it strikes me, Sandra Bernhard, that you are a very brave performer.
Well, I feel like the best part of it is because I really want to do something that's unique and sets me apart from everybody else. And I love great music. I love entertainment, and I like to really infuse it with social commentary without beating people over the head. And if I go off on my tangents sometimes because it's just funny, and then it's just boom, I stop and I go on to something else. It's just my stream of consciousness, and that's kind of what I'm known for. And you're known also for making fun of celebrities. So I'm curious about your view about how even as your career has progressed over the years, we've become even more of a celebrity culture, by 1,000 times. Absolutely.
Exponentially.
Absolutely. Well, I always tried to do it from a much different standpoint. It was never I was just tearing people apart. It was never this sort of cheap shot, But now it's who is a celebrity? What is celebrity? When you have, the Housewives of New Jersey, and then you've got the Kardashians, and you've got these people who come along who have done nothing to earn the respect of the public. It's not like they've worked their way up and they're entertainers or actors or writers or artists. They're just these people who just want fame for no apparent reason. And I do have a certain amount of contempt for that, because even some of the entertainers over the years who I don't fully respect, I admire anybody who's had the fortitude to really, commit to their craft and do it. So, it's a fine line. That's a fine line.
Do you know, Sandra, that my sister is one of the Real Housewives?
Really?
Yeah, my sister's one of the Real Housewives of New York City. Her name is Jill Zarin, and I've been on the show quite a bit.
Okay.
Yeah, and I know exactly what you're saying, and you know what?
I'm sorry, but...
No. Listen, I am not going to disagree with what you said. Jill would be the first to say that, she was an ordinary girl who, for whatever reason, was attracted by these producers were attracted by her essence, and they made her famous. And from the fame has come great opportunity for her to expand her business and her life.
Well, that's great. That's cool. But then you really have to look at the whole picture and go, but who? I mean, maybe Jill's not responsible for it. Maybe it's what the business has become. And the fact that they can take people that are willing to put themselves out there and at very little cost to the networks and to the people, they're able to do these shows that are labeled entertainment. I don't happen to consider it to be entertainment.
I don't happen to disagree with you.
Exploitation on so many levels, but God bless.
Well, listen, it is exploitation. What really troubles me, and this isn't this has nothing to do with Housewives per se, although it's part of it. There's toddlers and tiaras and all this stuff. Since when do these children, since when do they have no rights whatsoever? Their parents get to film them. Their childhood gets to be filmed without their consent because they can't have consent because they're children. And where is like SAG and all this? I thought that battle was fought years ago. I mean,
but SAG doesn't have anything to do with these shows. That's the problem. SAG and after there's all these side deals made where they don't. These are not SAG produced shows.
But that's my point.
Well, I know, but when you have like a corrupt system where where they get edged out, where the unions aren't allowed to come in and protect their people, then this is what you're left with. So, listen, I'm just keeping my eye on the prize and doing my work and constantly honing my craft and working at it. I spend a lot of time writing. I spend a lot of time observing humanity and transforming it into entertainment. And that's what I do because I'm an artist and I love what I do. And if I make, $1 million one year and $5 the next, whatever, as long as I'm doing what I love and engaging people in what I think is important and uplifting information.
So when you look right now at the newspapers, right, when you get up in the morning, like what's funny to you? What's your riff on, what are your thoughts about what's going on right now that you give your unique Sandra Bernhard twist to?
Well, I'll definitely do a piece on the royal wedding.
Okay.
I might touch on Arnold Schwarzenegger.
You might, huh?
But it won't be. It's everything. It's all, like I said. I don't do. Everything's been said. You know what I mean? All this kind of snarky crap has been covered. It's like I always try to approach it from a place of irony, and I think then it really brings something new to the conversation. I don't want to just be another person saying things that anybody can say. That we're sitting around home going, he's an idiot, he's a schmuck, I mean, that's obvious, but what else is there to mine that's entertaining and funny and quirky?
What comics today that are out there, that you think are doing a good job of that, that aren't reaching for the obvious and the, what would I say, the crude?
Well, I mean, Roseanne. Roseanne Barr has always been.
She's brilliant, but is she practicing? Is she performing anymore?
She's actually doing a reality show right now that I taped an episode of.
Okay.
And that's what she's doing right now. But she's been performing, over the years, and she did a stint in Vegas.
I read that whole New York article that she wrote. It was really quite something.
It was fabulous.
It was fabulous. But what's so interesting, Sandra, and this is ironic, right? So she writes about how she admires Dave Chappelle because he's turned away from Hollywood. And, how if she was a stronger person, she would have turned away from the apex of fame. But then at the very end, it says she's going to be back on television in a reality show.
Well, because she's already there, and she has a lot to say. And she has to have a forum to say it. We all do, It's that struggle, it's that inner struggle. I mean, fame brings, a myriad of surprises, and not all of them good. That's why, for me, I've always kind of walked that fine line. I just try to maintain a little bit of privacy and a little bit of, reality that a lot of people haven't been able to do or don't want to do. I don't want to get swept up in it, and I never did. I just want to do my work. Yes, of course, I enjoy the perks of success and fame, but you can't live in it all the time. It's not a healthy place to live.
She's in Hawaii. She's in Hawaii now on a nut farm, right?
Or Ohio or Hawaii.
Right. That's what I meant. Yeah. But it's a paradise place. What's it like?
No, it's very funky. Her place. It's just like real cute and comfortable, and she has macadamia nuts, and she has her kids around, and it's not glamorous, but it's very, very cute.
Well, I'm very happy that you joined us, and I'm very happy that you'll be in Norfolk, Connecticut, and Amagansett, and we look forward to having you in Richfield in the fall.
Yes, we pushed that to the fall so that this Memorial Day weekend was not a good time to get people out. They have their plans already in place, and we'll come back when everybody's settled back in.
Yeah, that'll be much better. I'm going to Lake Placid myself, so I would have missed it. But
that's
in the fall,
I can be everybody's there. And then all of a sudden, it's like, well, what are we doing it this weekend?
Yeah.
We can't fully enjoy it, and neither can the audience. So we'll be back there in the fall, but we'll see you in Norfolk and out in the Hamptons.
Perfect. SandraBernhard.com. Thanks so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.
Sure, a pleasure.
Bye, honey.
Bye.